Trillions of dollars are on the line in a global race for a handful of rare metals. The US and India think they're leading the charge, but they're both being outplayed by their quiet northern neighbor. The shocking reason why involves a $20 billion investment that has one glaring, suspicious omission. This massive flow of cash into Canada's mineral sector tells a story politicians don't want you to hear, revealing who the real players are. The financial records show one of the key supposed partners is completely missing from the picture, suggesting the alliance is a house of cards. What does this financial black hole mean for the future of this partnership? Let me tell you why this matters. We're in the middle of a new global gold rush, but the treasure isn't gold. It's a handful of special materials called critical minerals. Think lithium for your phone and car batteries, cobalt for jet engines, and rare earth elements that guide missiles. These aren't just commodities, they are the absolute backbone of the 21st century economy and military. And here's the thing. The United States and India, two of the world's biggest powers, have a massive problem. They need these minerals to build their future, but they don't have enough. They are almost completely dependent on their biggest global rival, China, to get them. Imagine needing to buy the bricks for your house from the one person who wants to see it fall down. That's the situation they're in. So they teamed up. In October 2024, Washington and New Delhi signed a huge deal to work together and break free from China's control. It's a powerful alliance on paper, a combination of American money and Indian manufacturing might. But here's where the story takes a wild turn. The success or failure of this grand plan doesn't depend on a decision made in the White House or in New Delhi. Truth be told, it all comes down to their quiet neighbor to the north, Canada. You probably think of Canada as a place with a lot of natural beauty, but beneath the surface it's a resource juggernaut. It's sitting on some of the world's largest deposits of exactly what the US and India are desperate for. This puts Canada in an unbelievable position of power. It's not just another supplier. It is the central pivot point that this entire US-India alliance balances on. The choices made in Ottawa will decide who wins the great mineral race of the 21st century. But that's just the tip of the iceberg because the real story is far more complicated. So how did we get here? How did a few weird-sounding elements become the most important resources on the planet? It all comes down to two massive global shifts happening at once: the green energy revolution and the race for technological supremacy. The world needs millions of electric cars, wind turbines, and solar panels. At the same time, every advanced piece of military hardware, from fighter jets to semiconductors, relies on these same minerals. This has created a perfect storm, a tsunami of demand that the world is not prepared for. And for a long time, one player has been dominating the board. Here's something you probably didn't know. China has spent the last few decades executing a brilliant strategy to control the world's supply of critical minerals. It's not just that they dig a lot of it up. The real chokehold is in the next step: processing. These minerals don't come out of the ground ready to use. They have to be refined and purified. China completely dominates this stage, controlling over 80% of the global refining for these vital materials. This gives them an incredible weapon. It's like if one country owned all the oil refineries in the world. They could decide who gets gas and who doesn't. And China has shown they are not afraid to use this power. Not long ago, the US put some restrictions on China's tech companies. In response, Beijing simply turned off the tap. They announced export controls on gallium and germanium, two minerals essential for advanced electronics. It sent a massive shockwave through the global tech industry. It was a wake-up call. The theoretical risk that China could cut off supplies became a very real threat. For countries like the US and India, this was a five-alarm fire. Their entire economic and national security was hanging by a thread, and that thread led back to Beijing. This desperation is what led to their historic alliance, but finding a new source for these minerals, a reliable, friendly source, is the real challenge. And as they looked around the world, they realized there was really only one place that checked all the boxes. Up next, we'll dive into Canada's secret weapon. And trust me, it's not what you think. Alright, so the US and India are in a tough spot. Enter Canada. When you look at Canada's resources, it's almost like it was designed to solve this exact problem. It's not just one or two minerals, it's the whole shopping list. Let's run through the numbers. Canada is in the top 3 globally for cobalt and nickel reserves, and it's the only country in the Western Hemisphere that has all the minerals needed to make an electric vehicle battery from scratch. This geological jackpot is the foundation of Canada's power. But truth be told, having a lot of rocks in the ground isn't the full story. Many countries have resources. What makes Canada a potential superpower in this race is their secret weapon: their reputation. In the world of mining, there's a set of standards called ESG. It stands for environmental, social, and governance. In simple terms, it's a grade for how responsibly a country operates. Global companies like Tesla, Ford, and Apple are under immense pressure from their customers and investors to have clean supply chains. They are desperate for minerals that come with a clean label. And this is where Canada shines. It has some of the strictest environmental regulations and labor laws in the world. This makes Canadian minerals the gold standard, the premium product everyone wants. This ESG advantage is a massive strategic differentiator that few other nations can match. But Canada isn't just content with selling its responsibly mined raw materials. The new plan is much more ambitious. They want to control the entire supply chain from the mine all the way to the final product. A perfect example is a new facility in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. It's one of the first of its kind in North America, designed to do the incredibly complex job of separating rare earth elements, materials vital for magnets and EVs and defense tech. Then head over to Ontario, where North America's only refinery for cobalt sulfate is being built. This project is so important that the U.S. Department of Defense is actually helping to fund it directly. The U.S. military sees Canada's industrial base as an extension of its own. That's a level of trust and integration that is light years ahead of its relationship with any other partner, including India. So, Canada has the raw materials, the sterling reputation, and the processing power. They hold all the cards. But here's the billion-dollar question. How are they going to play them? Let's take a closer look at this U.S.-India partnership. On the surface, it makes perfect sense. They are the world's 2 largest democracies, and they share a deep concern about China's growing power. The agreement they signed was all about combining their strengths to build a new secure supply chain. The U.S. would bring its technology and investment capital. India would bring its huge market and its growing manufacturing base. But there's a giant hole in the middle of this plan. It's a coalition of ambition, but what it lacks is the raw materials themselves. Both the US and India are dangerously dependent on imports for the very minerals their alliance is supposed to secure. Let's start with India. The country wants to be a world leader in manufacturing, especially in electric vehicles. Their goal is to have 30% of their cars be electric by 2030. The problem? India is 100% reliant on imports for the key battery minerals, lithium, cobalt, and nickel. A huge chunk of those imports comes from China. This puts their entire economic dream at risk. They have launched a massive mission to find domestic deposits, but that can take over a decade. They have a short-term crisis that domestic exploration can't solve. Now let's look at the United States. The situation is similar. The U.S. is 100% import reliant for 12 critical minerals. For the processed rare earth elements, vital for things like F-35 fighter jets, the U.S. gets about 74% from China. The Department of Defense has flagged this as a major national security threat. So, you have 2 giants with the same critical vulnerability. Their landmark agreement is basically a public declaration that they are going to solve this problem together. But it's like 2 people who are broke promising to help each other get rich. They have the will, but they don't have the means. This is the strategic vacuum at the heart of their alliance. They need a third partner, a partner who actually has the minerals. And that partner is Canada. This reality completely changes the power dynamic. Canada isn't just a seller. It's the missing piece that makes the entire puzzle work. This gives Ottawa an incredible amount of leverage. Up next, we'll explore the 3 powerful levers Canada can pull to control this entire race. So, Canada is in the driver's seat, ready to steer the US-India mineral race. Ottawa has 3 main levers of power that will determine everything. First up, you've got the supply dial. Like a gas pedal, Canada can fast-track mines to help its allies build their supply chains or slow down development, forcing them to wait and pay more. But it's not just about speed, it's also about what they sell. That brings us to the value-add doctrine. Instead of selling raw ore, Canada is now refining minerals at home, a move that directly competes with the industrial goals of both the US and India. And that leads to the most powerful tool of all, the alliance switch. Canada must decide who gets priority access. Every shipment can boost one nation's defense and manufacturing sector, giving a chosen partner a decisive edge over the other. These are deeply strategic choices, not just commercial ones. But plans are one thing. To understand what's really happening, you have to follow the money, and the investment data reveals a shocking mystery that's up next. Can Canada really cut China loose while still taking its billions? Think about it. And if you want more deep dives, hit like and subscribe for more.